programs in Delhi. My apologies.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, hi, hello. I am a Spanish teacher, but can you tell us about what do your grandmother tell you? What stories does your grandmother tell you?
Now, you can appreciate my grandmother, who's passed away a long time ago. When she was a child growing up in India, it was a very, very poor country. I mean, even now, even in this day and age, even though it's the world's largest democracy and it has a massive economic growth, you know, between India, I guess what they call BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India and China, there's a lot of growth, and especially in India and China, I'm sure most of you are aware of that. But when my grandmother was growing up in India, it was still under British rule. So India was very much controlled by England, and they were very poor. I mean, you know a lot of places in Mexico. When I was there in Mexico City, especially when we went to the outskirts of Mexico City and through some of the more rural places there, there was a lot of poverty, and very much one of the questions that was asked of me earlier, it was very prevalent there, it was very common there. Most people, including my grandmother, not to go to school at all. So, you know, when they were born and when they were old enough to work, typically on the farms, they worked on the farms. So, yes, unfortunately, they didn't have any opportunities. We're talking, you have to remember, this is probably in the early 1920s, in the 1920s and 1930s, when my grandmother was a child growing up in India. And she also came to England in about 1950, but the question that your teacher asked, yes, it was a very, very tough life. Children were expected to assist their parents when they were old enough to work, typically on the farm, and they did not have any formal education whatsoever, zero. That's the question? No.
We are investigating. Hello, my name is Monse, and we are investigating about the storage of the water storage.
Okay.
And we are really surprised to now to ask people in India how to steal the water. It is true.
What was that in India?
Steal the water.
Okay, okay.
The person steal the water to don't have water.
Don't have water?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you talking about drought?
Why?
Okay.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Is this true?
No, okay, no, porque está preguntando algo. Sí, es que necesitamos.
Did you repeat me the question?
Please repeat the question. That I did. What part about the weather? You mentioned something about the weather. I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. Sorry.
Contamination.
The contaminations don't have dirty the water, and the water finish. And do you think a solution?
Okay. I'm sorry. My apologies, but I still didn't understand the question. Now, if you're talking about the weather or the lack of clean water, I mean, certainly both are issues in India. I mean, the lack of clean water. I mean, one of my business associates, he owns a company. It's a desalination company. So what they do, they take the salt out of water.
Yes.
But access to clean drinking water, especially in poor villages. It's a huge problem in rural India, in the communities and the villages. So I'm sure that was your question. I mean, is a solution? No, I mean, there's no simple solution. You know, the weather, we have no control over the weather, of course, so the solution will take a lot of money as far as infrastructure. You know, but that's not going to happen overnight. Like, India's got a massive population, over, I think the last census, the last census, I should say, with over 1.2 billion people in India. So that's a lot of people, you know, that need access to clean drinking water. And so, you know, they can't do so much, and it'll take a lot of money and a lot of time. So there's no simple solution, I'm afraid. So that's the best I can do. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.
In Mexican education system, we have a problem called bullying. In England, you have this problem. Which other problems do you have?
I mean, okay, you first house that immigration, is that correct?
No. Bullying.
Oh, bullying, sorry, my apologies. Oh, definitely. I mean, unfortunately, that is very common in both England and Canada. Now, for the last 25 I've been in Canada, now the last few years there's been some high-profile cases where children, unfortunately, have committed suicide, have killed themselves because of bullying. So what we do, for example, like my son Liam, he'll be in Mexico City next month as part of the exchange program, and he can make a claim as well to you. But I think the date is in February the 27th. So on February the 27th, in their school, and not just in their school, but all the BC, we take a stand against bullying. We wear something pink, so the boys and girls, we can wear a pink t-shirt, we can wear a pink wristband, and anything. So it's not just in schools, even adults, like my wife, for example, like Liam's mom, at her work, everybody in their factory and in their office is encouraged to wear something pink. And pink symbolizes here anyway, you know, like normally people associate the pink color with girls, right? Usually a pink color is for girls, so it's a color that we've chosen to represent anti-bullying. So once again, we on February the 27th, the ends of the year, it's the third week in February, everybody in Chimney Hill Elementary, plus all the other schools in Surrey, you know, the high schools, the elementary schools, and a lot of companies, so adults will be wearing pink. Like I said, they wear a pink shirt, a t-shirt, or a pink, you know, arm and wristband. But unfortunately, bullying is a problem. And you have to remember, bullying is not just between children. Sometimes even adults get bullied. Like at work, some people, some bosses, you know, some employees are not, some employees not so nice, and even that is bullying. So it is a big problem. But we are trying to address it, and it's given a lot of attention in the last few years because unfortunately some children have committed suicide. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Hector. Can you tell me who is the main ruler of Canada?
Sorry?
Can you tell me who is the main ruler of Canada? of England?
Oh, okay, so in England and in Canada we have a Prime Minister. Now, in Canada, the ruling party is the Conservatives, and our Prime Minister in Canada, so he's not the ruler because he's elected, and every 4 years we have votes. But his name is Stephen Harper. Okay, so that's Canada. Now in England, the last election, it was actually, there wasn't a majority government, so there were two minorities that were selected, and the ruling person, I forget his first name, the last name, his name is Prime Minister Cameron, Cameron. He's the Prime Minister of England.
Yes, and can you tell me some laws of Canada and England?
Sure, I mean, fortunately for me anyway, it's easy because a lot of the laws in Canada were inherited from England, because England ruled, just like I said earlier in one of the other questions, England ruled India for a lot of years. It was also part of the Canada is independent now, but for the longest time it was under British rule. I mean, so we have a lot of laws. We have a criminal system, criminal justice system. Like if you do any crimes, like you steal, you kill, you hurt people, that's the form the criminal system. We also have a civil justice system, so crimes like stealing, even though the crime, it'll have different levels of punishment to say, you know, killing somebody, obviously, because killing somebody is much more severe than, say, stealing, you know, somebody's car. So we do have a system in the judicial system. We have the highest court in Canada is the Supreme Court of Canada. They make rules that apply to all of Canada. Then, if you know, in Canada we have 10 provinces and 3 territories, so each province, each territory in Canada has their own Supreme Court. Then beneath the Supreme Court we have also what we call provincial courts. Although they're for like crimes such as stealing, but like I said, ultimately the highest court in the land is the Supreme Court. And so any major laws that are passed through Parliament enact through the Supreme Court of Canada.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Sebastian.
Hi, Sebastian. How are you? Your whole is cousin, right?
Yes.
And Alex is cousin. I remember. Now your mom.
Yes. Could you tell us what is the India's official name?
Sorry, what, sorry?
What is the India's official name?
Well, I mean, when you say official name, everybody calls it India, but a lot of Indians call it Hindustan. I don't know if that's your question. I think it is. I think that's what you're asking. The reason they call it Hindustan, you know, like Pakistan, their neighbour. Well, in India, the majority of India, like I said, there's about 1.2 billion people. I would say well over 93 to 95% of Hindus. And I'm not a Hindu myself, I am a Sikh. But so the majority are Hindus, so a lot of people in India, they don't call themselves, they don't say that India, they call it Hindustan. Like Hindu, Hindustan. I don't know if, you know, always called it the Republic of India. I don't know the official answer to that question, but it's either India or the Republic of India.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Say hi, Tim.
María.
Hi.
Fuerte.
Hello.
Grita.
Hola.